Welcome to the Charron Zone. Today I am super excited because we have the one, the only, the one of one, Mr. Stormin Norman Voss from the Bret Michaels band, bass player extraordinaire, rocking his NSYNC shirt.
Come on, what's not? Joey Fatone turned me on to this Oven Sync, so I thought that was cool. Anyway.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and this is really exciting. Super pumped to have you on. I loved your story. I loved your whole vibe. Like, you're the most gregarious guy, and it's great to see you playing with Bret and everything. But if you want to kind of intro yourself, kind of just give like people a quick snapshot of who you are and what you've done so far.
Sure. And first, I'd say great meeting you in Fort Lauderdale area or Hollywood, Florida. We played a show down there. Yeah, I was in the crowd, and there you were, and we just sat down, because I've been a while. First, it was back and forth. Hey, let's try to get together somehow. When we got off the Rock Legends cruise, didn't work out. So great to meet you that night, you and your wife. And then about me is that I've been playing music pretty much my whole life. Learned guitar when I was 14 years old. And very fortunate that for the last 3.5, almost 4 years, I've been playing bass for the Bret Michaels band, touring the country, having a ball.
Awesome. So let's talk about just so before I wanted to name this podcast "It's Never Too Late." It's never too late to be a rock star, because I love your story. So tell us about your life, from you started playing guitar at 14, 15 years old, and then just like in a snapshot, you started playing in bands, and what were you doing for the past few years leading up into Bret? And if you want to just go into the whole thing, like how it came to be, because it's pretty cool, organic evolution.
Yeah, so I started playing 14 or so, started joining bands in high school, and then through college, I have a video of me in 1987, I think, in college, playing Talk Dirty to Me by Poison, like the month it came out. My terrible college band learned the song. So I got a video of me playing it even back then, which is awesome, and which is great since when I joined the first show I played with Bret, I have a video of me playing Talk Dirty to Me with him. So I have a video melding from 1987 to 2021 with the guy who wrote the song. So I thought that was cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah. So, and then after college, actually another thing just to throw in real quick, because it comes into the story at the end, is I actually joined the federal government in high school. In 1984, because of my mother. She worked for the federal. She's like, I'll get you a job as a clerk typist. So I said, stop. I don't want to do that. I want to be a musician. But just do this also as a back, just to have the day job. So I did. And so while I was doing everything, even through college, and I was go back to this job and after college. But then also after college, I joined this punk rock band, and we started touring the country. And I started getting this, in a van, going from town to town. And back then, it was even like, any fans, can we stay at your house type thing? We, didn't have any money, weren't making a lot of money, but it was just fun. So much fun to do that, to have that experience, especially in your 20s kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. So this is interesting, because I was doing a different podcast, and we were talking about, different people either doing music for a living or having a job and doing music on the side, and the different scenarios where either one can be really great for different people. So you join the punk band and you're touring around, which sounds like a blast. So how did that work with your government job?
Yeah. So unfortunately, I had I would take 3 weeks off from work. Sometimes it was leave without pay, or sometimes I had the vacation time. But once a year we do like a 3-week tour. It's funny, we were called the Meat Men. We would tour with War, we toured with Fear, all these RKL, all these big, the Addicts. I'm just thinking in my head now, in the 90s, all these big punk rock bands back in the day. But then the one thing I do remember, I tell this story a lot, is that we were going to get signed, and we have a big band meeting, like, hey, I think we're going to get signed. Hey, drummer, are you quitting your job? Yeah, I'm quitting my day job. Hey, bass, you quitting your job? Hey, Norm, you quitting your... I was just like, I'm not quitting my job. and it, you know, and it just sort of actually went downhill from... Well, actually, the band broke up about 6 months later, so I'm so glad I didn't quit my day job. You know?
Good move, good move.
But at that time, I was just like, nah, you know, that weighing options, I just didn't have that I'm all in, death or glory, whatever, you know, kind of thing. And thankfully so, because then as the years went on, now I'm retired. Now I don't have a job at all except for being a musician, and so it all worked out in the end, I guess I'll say.
Nice.
But then, yeah, it's so good. But then, so in the 2000s, actually, just now throw in I had my own band, the Stormin Norman Band, local to the area. I live in Fredericksburg, Virginia now, in Northern Virginia area. We played every weekend, and that's funny. That's how I met my wife, Jen. And then I then realized she's going to get sick of watching me be in the band every weekend, so I quickly taught her to play bass. And
I think you told me this at the show.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right. So she became the bass player.
No way. Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, and so it's about 20 years ago. This is a funny thing, and through the years of playing in different bands in this area is where Pete Epic, the guitar player for Bret, we sort of knew each other, but there was this one time where we actually met, me, Jen, my wife, and him, and had a drink. And he didn't say anything at the time, but I think it was like the same month that he took the job with Bret. It was sort of not a secret thing at that time, or he just didn't want to tell me. I can't remember. So I've known him personally for about 21 years, just as long as he's played with Bret. And because of that, I was already a fan of Poison, you know, but then I was just so much more interested in Bret Michaels, what he was doing, you know, again, with the TV shows, Rock of Love, The Apprentice, Rock My RV, there was everything, because I knew.
Forget about he did so many shows.
Right. Half the time when I meet people and they say, hey, I play with Bret Michaels. Oh, the guy from Rock of Love? Oh, the guy from Bret. No, the guy from Poison.
He used to be in a band.
Right, exactly. So you get all kinds. You know, but that's the different generations of what they got, where they came into their head.
That's the genius of Bret's business acumen.
Right. True.
I mean, such amazing moves to develop. I'm sure he helped develop Rock of Love and all that, and the RV show. But to do those shows was just super smart.
Yeah. So nothing's off the table with him, right? So I was always following. I would even, you know, at work, I would always just look up Bret Michaels /tour and see where they're playing and just go, So it's not like I just want to. Yeah, that's the one thing where I always wanted this job.
Yeah,
and
so
always like
having the relationship with Pete just made you like more and more like having it. It put what Bret and those guys were doing more on your radar. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was also high school friends with Rob, keyboard player, and then I became good friends with Chuck and Ray, who were in the band, and then even when Bart took Ray's place again, and then Eric of Cinderella. I'm like, I can't believe this. Eric Cinderella's playing bass from that. But I'm a lead guitar player. You know, I played bass for like 3 weeks in the 90s playing for another punk band, and that's the only time I ever played bass. So I knew Pete was like, he's the guitar. So I never thought I could actually ever have a chance to be in the band.
Yes. Yeah, when I first opened for Bret, I think the first 1 or 2 times, it was with that lineup with, I think it was Chuck, it was it Rob, and the bass, Eric.
Okay, Eric Brittingham. Okay, great. Yeah, so I would always bug Pete, hey, can I open up sometime? And you know what, now that I know the door stuff. You know, he's like, listen, it's not up to me. Every town has its own agent. I was like, okay. And all of a sudden, once he goes, you know what? Here's a show for you. And he had us open up twice at a venue near here. So I was like, oh, how cool is that? And that's when I first met Bret, also just opening up. So, and then fast forward this whole thing to 2021. Pete had his own band. He has his own band, Evic, of course, in our area. He was doing a wedding, and he needed a guitar player, the lead guitar, to play the wedding because his guy couldn't do it. So I learned. That's when I knew. Let me learn all these songs, and I love learning songs. That's what, to me, that gets my gears turning. Try to memorize songs and to learn, see what chords, see how the song is put together.
I was doing it right before we started this.
Yeah. You're the same way, right?
Yep.
That's great. That's great. So I learned like 30 songs just for this one show, and and that impressed Pete, I guess. And so when all of a sudden during COVID, Eric Brittingham thought he had COVID even. He said, listen, it's Tuesday and there's a show on Friday and I can't do it. So that's when Pete said, you know what, who can learn songs real fast? Let me give Norman a try.
Well, this is awesome. So you literally have played bass for what would you say, a couple weeks or months?
3 weeks in 1994 or something like that. Yeah.
Did you even have a bass? Did you own a bass?
I did. You know what? I still had my wife's bass in the garage.
Yep.
Back in the, back there. But so yeah. Anyway, so and here's the interesting story. I always tell this story is that it was a Tuesday that Eric quit, and on that same Tuesday, I'm getting excited to play a show on Friday with my band. It's a cool bar that we're about to play, but I get a call from saying, hey, the show's canceled. And I go, oh man, I was so excited for the show. Why? What happened? He goes, yeah, the place just doesn't like you. Doesn't like you guys. I go, oh, okay. And so I hang up the phone, and that's my moment where I said, Norman, why are you still doing this? Why are you playing every weekend? For what? I know it's fun, but it's always like, God, please come see me. You want to get the people to come. It's to keep this engine of a band going is a lot of work. So I just thought, why are you still doing this? And that exact moment, and I thought that the phone rings again, and it's Pete Evick on the phone saying, what are you doing Friday? And I thought he was punking me then because he has the same local booking agent, and he set the guy up to call me just to do this. I go, nothing now. Why? Thinking the show's on. He goes, well, can you be in Oregon? And it threw me. I said, be in Oregon for what? He goes, to play with Bret. I go, play with Bret? He goes, yeah. Oh, by the way, do you know how to play bass? I said, I do now. And that's when it all started.
I love this for everybody listening and watching. I mean, what an amazing story. That's the coolest thing when, obviously you're doing your thing, you're playing in your band, your gig gets canceled, and then Pete calls you and says, hey, do you want to come do some shows with one of your heroes in music? That's
right.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I don't know what sometimes I tell that story, so I guess the point of the story is if you have dreams, quit them. And then you'll never know. No.
That's the title of the podcast.
No, you just never. Don't say it. You just never know when you close one door, what other door may open. I think maybe that's the better title.
Yes, sir. And there's something to be said in a broader way also, and not that you did it on purpose, but I think that there's a value sometimes in allowing yourself space. It's very hard to do. Actually, I'm going through something very similar right now where I'm moving my base to Nashville, Tennessee. So I've had to basically cancel all of my ongoing gigs in Florida, and it's, give myself a bunch of space for bigger opportunities, and then which is working out well because then I've gotten some calls to do bigger, well-paid shows down here in Florida. So I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm wide open, and of course I can go back and forth. But the point is, sometimes if you want to take a big step and a big leap, you can, and this goes back to should people be playing music for a living, like just solely going out and playing. Like I started my career by playing 6-7 days a week, 4 hours a day, riding the bar stools. And, the catch-22 is if you're doing that 300 days a year and, a bigger opportunity comes, you might have a problem, canceling your steady ongoing gig or something that's bigger and a bigger door that's going to open. So I always think of that, and I try to, weigh things. And like I said, right now, that's exactly what I've done so that I can make the move to Nashville, and I don't have something that keeps pulling me back.
Right.
But it's working well because the only things that I'm allowing to pull me back are bigger opportunities. So it's nice.
That's great. I think we both probably have that same feeling. Like, why can't we just have clones? If we had two of us, we could get so much more done.
I know. So yeah. I mean, you do so much. Also, like you do all the video stuff. You shoot and you edit also, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So I see all this stuff that you're doing, and it reminds me of me because I'm like, man, I have so many hats. I need a new closet.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
But I think that a lot of people, especially musicians, I would imagine actors and stuff, these days it's like you're almost forced to be a Swiss Army knife. You have to become good at social media. You have to. I mean, I do the same thing. I edit my own videos. I edit my acting auditions. Like every day I'm sitting here shooting. I have this studio. I'm shooting. I'm editing. I'm sending them out. I'm always, trying to get better at social media, trying to be a better marketer, trying to be a better promoter. And then, I should work on music as well. It's like just keeping everything going,
That's what's great with modern day technology is that you can be your own production company if you're into it, if you want to do that. And I like nothing better than sitting and breaking open my laptop like we're on the road or on an airplane. Breaking open my laptop and I can start editing a video right then and there. That's great. And I always say, and the one problem with that is that everyone can do that. So the market is so saturated with everyone thinking they're their own production company and their own star and blah, 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 blah. But again, hopefully the best rise to the top.
Yeah, well, I mean, personally, I do find that a lot of the majority of musicians who should be, I think that they should be doing more on social media and definitely more video. Most people, don't want to do it. So it does kind of set people apart too. Like when I see your stuff or when I see other acts that are doing like great video stuff, it sets them apart.
Right. True. That's right. Yeah.
Really like you were saying, it's pretty amazing now that we can establish we can be our own labels. We can do everything pretty much, without the big budget that labels can do. And we can set our own image with our content, with our video and our photos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I enjoy it too. Like I love all that stuff. I love the fact that that I can do it too, like that I don't have to rely on somebody else to do it. And then, when I want to do when I have a bigger show or something and it's really important, then I'll hire somebody to shoot and edit. Because I'm definitely not. I just consider myself an amateur, video editor and stuff like that. So I can do some stuff, and then when it's really important, I just hire somebody.
Exactly. And I'm the same way. I use the worst, cheapest equipment. I don't have anything good or special. But then when I'm starting to do stuff, and I'm big into history, I'm a history buff. So when I'm trying to do this more history videos, and I'm like, let's get it done right. Something that's really quality. So I'm the same way.
So what do you usually shoot like the concert footage on?
Everything's GoPro, just the GoPro, really. I have a GoPro 12, I think I even have, and it's, nothing special at all. But I do think GoPro has a better quality than a phone. Sometimes you could just, that's where it's like, hey, what do you, always ask me, what do you use? What do you use? Like, it's just a GoPro. But I think people do see the difference between that and someone just using their phone kind of thing. So, because it's just so mobile. It's just in my pocket. It's always in my pocket. I'm ready to go,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then when you're shooting for the shows, do you just mount the GoPro?
Well, it's usually just on a speaker. I usually sort of, even every time if we do a show, I'll put it on the drum stand. I'll put it on the scrim very top, or the side speakers, or on the monitors, or on my mic stand. I take it to the mic stand kind of thing. So it's always, different. But no, I don't have it on a stand only because I want it to be more mobile. That kind of thing. So
yeah.
And I'm too lazy. It's a funny thing too. When I go to a show from the hotel, I'm like, oh, I got the stand. I gotta carry that around all night? No. I'm gonna put my GoPro in my pocket. So that's why.
So you just pop it on the speaker, or is it? Yeah. There's no clip or anything.
Nope. We played Saturday. We were playing "We're Not Gonna Take It" with D. Snider, and the crowd was so crazy, and I wanted to show part of look at the video after. Well, it fell off the speaker, it vibrated off. Missed most of the song. But anyway.
So I have a show on Saturday, and I'm gonna borrow your idea. I'm just gonna bring a GoPro and plop it.
Right. But what I do is, like, every song I'll put it in a different spot. So then when I edit the video, it looks like it's a 5-camera shoot.
Look at you are dropping some badass tips right now. That's genius. So. Right. That's why. So when I see your videos, I always tell people too, like, just have these things in mind, like, before you go to the show. Like, if you have somebody even holding their phone or however they're shooting, like, tell them like what shots you want and plan it out just a little bit. Like, if there's a good crowd, get shots of the crowd. If the crowd isn't great, don't show holes in the crowd. It's all about angles, but that is so freaking smart, because then when you go and you edit your video, everybody go check out Norman's stuff and watch his videos, and it's going to blow your mind now that that he has one GoPro, because it looks like you have like a 10-camera setup.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. And that's all because I don't have my pocket. I don't really have, I got enough stuff in my pockets, so I would bring more.
Dude, that is so freaking smart. So that's super cool. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this too. You brought up D. Snider, so I'm sure, like, I love all the 80s rock. Like, I'm totally obsessed with it. So if you want to just name drop like hell, like, who are some of your favorite people your favorite people that you've gotten the honor to play with and hang out with?
Yeah, well, first off, the coolest thing is, the coolest thing is to play with Bret Michaels and Poison. Because that, to me, they were the ultimate party band of the 80s, the ultimate fun band. And my whole Stormin Norman band has always been about, you're going to have a good time at one of my shows. Where did I get that from? From watching Poison as a kid. The entertainment value, the silly string. I did all that stuff but I got it all from him. Stole it all from him. But anyways, that number one. But then, though, what was so cool about what he's done in the last 3 years now, his Party Gras idea is to have great artists join us, that we become the band of Mark McGrath of Sugar Ray. Steve Algieri used to be the singer of Journey. It's funny, I never got into Journey until Steve Algieri joined, because they were so big. I was like, I hear it on the radio so much, I don't want to buy an album. Finally, this guy, Steve Algieri, takes Steve Perry's place. I'm interested. I bought his album, and it's a great album. So, Arrival in 2003, I believe. Anyways, he's joining us, and we're playing Journey songs in front of 15,000 people, So that first tour was with Steve and Mark McGrath, and they're on the tour bus with us. So let alone are they on stage with us, but we're hanging out with them. And that's what's so great about this, where your heroes become your friends, and they're really cool guys. That's what I love.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's such a relationship business, like most businesses, but you know, the music business is so relationship driven. So that is so cool. Like, what an amazing gig. Not only do you get obviously to play with Bret, but now because Bret kind of came up with this new way to tour and add all these special guests, then you get to learn their songs and play with them, and that's on your resume. That does not suck. And you get to establish relationships with all these people. That's so cool.
yeah, yep. And that was Party Gras 1, and Party Gras 2 was then Dee Snider and Lou Gramm of Foreigner. And he just got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and 75 years young and still singing like he did back in the 80s, 70s, as he did in the 70s. We were feels like we would start off with him, feels like the first time. And how can a guy, he must have sung it a million times, but still does it with the, I could just see it in him too. And that's the power of music, to still be doing those same songs almost 60 years, 55 years later, that he still has that excitement, and how great. But then also, and those are the guys who we played with on stage with, but to also play with Night Ranger and Warrant and Jefferson Starship and just all these bands that when you're on the road with, it's, where you just, not as, where you see him at dinner or before the show kind of thing, where you're just to get these relationships with these legendary artists that when I was a kid, it was like they live on a mountain and they're all gods, and there's no way to ever go up that mountain.
yeah, they live in a laboratory on the top of a mountain, and that's so cool. And I would imagine another great part of that, and I've kind of done this with my own career, is like you get to be around these people and perform with them and hang out with them and get to know them, and it's so inspiring, and you learn. I'm just always into learning from people, and like some people that I've met, you learn how to not be, but for the most part, a lot of these legendary people that you look up to, you kind of learn by osmosis, like how they're operating and what they're doing, and it inspires me every time I get the opportunity. So it's and just being on here with you and listening to your story, it's awesome, because it's super inspiring, and then you take that to to your own career and your own music, and it's like a big recycling thing. You take their energy and you put it back out.
That's right. No, exactly. No, that's what I'm getting, the same thing too from them. What I've learned from all the people that I've now played with, it's just their professionalism. They are there. I've never, by the way, because you met some people. Again, you would think these are the big egos of the world in a sense, because this is the music industry in the '80s. That's when everyone treated you like you were gold. So you would think that would have maybe tarnished them in a sense, whatever the right word. But every person I met has been so nice, so giving, so outgoing. Don Felder of the Eagles, another artist, and just such a nice guy, such a down-to-earth guy. Everyone I've met has been very down-to-earth. And I wish I could say, I got this story about this guy was such a jerk. I don't have one. Yeah, everyone's been so cool.
I'll just throw one name out there: Fred Durst.
Yeah.
I digress. That's for the podcast. It's a testament, because this is a music business podcast at its core. It is a testament to see these, legendary musicians and artists still doing it, and it's a testament to people's, their work ethic, and the way their work ethic and the way they treat people, and that's when I first met Bret, that's the first thing that I noticed and told everybody about him. I mean, you can't find a more gracious, a gracious star, and he's obviously super smart and driven and hardworking, brilliant business, which I really admire about him. So yeah, there's a common theme between, you know, all these people doing great things and having such long careers, and the common theme is, you know, their work ethic, the way they move, you know, the way they move and the way they treat people.
Right, exactly. I want to just point out real quick, one guy I was most impressed by is Dave Freeberg of Jefferson Starship. He's 86 years old. He was with Jefferson Airplane. He was asked to join the Grateful Dead in the 60s. Anyway, you know, he's still out there. Still out there. They're going out on tour today, actually, to do 10 shows and 2 cruises. And at 86 years old, wow. You know, and the guy can belt it out. Like, I can't sing like him. And he still belts it out. He still does it. And he's always with a smile on his face, always humble, always happy. And it's just, it blows my mind, you know. And again, but that's the power. It's the power of music. It must be the power of music, you know, because it can change the world. It connects people. It connects countries. It connects communities. So more power to him. And to me, thank you, music, for doing that.
Absolutely. Do you know Bruce Kulick?
I met him in Vegas last March for Bret's birthday. He was there. Anyways, yes, great guy.
Yeah, he's one that stuck out to me. We opened for Grand Funk.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, and he was just the super nicest guy, and what a resume playing for Kiss, and I think he's with somebody new. I don't think he's with Grand Funk anymore. I can't remember, but anywho, that's awesome. Super cool.
I saw he was after I met him. Then I started following him closer. That he was even on Don Kirshner's rock concert in some funk band in the '70s. Bruce Kulick. So, anyways, it's like when you never know of someone's history of, you just think, oh, Kiss, and which, by the way, his period Kisses was one of my favorites. That's the one I was into the most. You know.
Yep.
Tears are falling. That's my Kiss.
Yes. Was that Lick It Up?
No. Vinnie Vincent was Lick It Up. No, Tears Are Falling was the Bruce Kulick period of Kiss.
That was like what, mid-'80s? Mid-'80s?
Yeah, I think 83 or so, 82, 83, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, there's so many awesome, you know, what I love about that era is it's just the music. There's just so much fun, like you were saying about Poison. It's like, it's not, not overthinking it. And I love the big bombastic shows, you know. I love that they put on shows like you go to see you guys, and freaking like you guys will see, like, check out Norman on stage with Bret. Like, he's all over the place, 1,000% energy. You know, they've got the smoke and the big pyro going, and it's like a big, fun, bombastic rock show. And man, I just think that the world needs more and more and more of that, you know. Just like I say with my shows, like, I just want people to come to the show, maybe have a beer or two, and come for 2 hours or whatever, and just forget everything that's going on in their life, and yell and scream and dance and spit and stomp and have the time of their lives and forget all their problems.
Right. Get it all out of your system, right? Yeah. But I gotta say, and I've watched your videos, and I agree with you totally that you are the same way too. Where when you want to go to a show, it's like you can't go to the bathroom. You might miss something, like, because the guys on stage are playing like it's the last show they're ever going to play. And I learned that from Poison way back in college days. And I lived by that my whole career. So it's just so funny that now that I get a chance to do it with the guy who I believe started that kind of all or nothing mentality, that I am definitely going to go out there all or nothing mentality, the last show I may ever play.
I love it, man. I literally just got goosebumps. That's how into this stuff I am. I love it. Well, cool. Like, what I would do to kind of like to do to wrap up. Number one, definitely please tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, me, I'm Facebook, Norman Voss, VOSS. I think I got my friend limit, but you can follow me because I'm posting a new video of some kind every day. Either I'm singing at a senior home, I'm doing a homeless thing, I'm on the road, I'm doing comedy, I'm doing I don't know if you saw my video with Tom Cruise I did the other day. You gotta check that one out. It's pretty funny. So it's just something to just sort of take. It's so funny when you think of Facebook is that it's like everyone's own TV channel. At least that's how I think of it. So come to my TV channel, watch my shows.
Yes, that's a great point too, because for all the music business people that are watching, I'm always begging people to 10x their social media, and by also what I mean is like diversify your social media too, because I look at it the same way. Like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, we didn't have the opportunity to have our own TV show for free 24 hours a day.
Right.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And I think people should really take advantage of it more. And having said that, I love the fact that you do all these different things, because I think it keeps people interested. Because if you're always just posting like, here's my new song, hope you like it, download it, it can get very one-dimensional. And what I try to do on my social media is very similar. I try to do lifestyle stuff like, hey, this is me, I'm at the beach, I'm playing volleyball, hey, I'm going to the gym, because I'm into fitness and health, and I love the beach and I love the outdoors. So I try to do a bunch of that stuff. Then I try to, post my acting stuff. I try to post like some behind the scenes stuff, some audition stuff, and then of course concert stuff. And then, little videos inviting people to things, but always just trying to keep it fresh and mix it up so that people don't get bored and they want to watch my TV channel.
Right. And because you're Mr. Positivity too. So that's why I think and that's what I try to be like too, where you just, you don't want to be a bummer, you don't want to be a downer, so you try to be positive, to inspire. Because to me, that's what the whole thing is about, to inspire in some kind of way. I hope someone sees me in different facets, but it's all inspiring in some kind of way. Because I think that's what it's all about in the end of the day.
1,000,000%. I think that's why I just gravitated towards you as well. Like, I just love your energy, your positivity. Your story's amazing. And to kind of put a cap on it, I like to ask everybody at the end, if there's someone listening or watching who's in the music business and they basically kind of want to be doing something similar to you, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I think to always try to be positive. I guess I'll go right back to that, because the one background, everyone always asks me on the road, like, hey, what's the downside? Is there any downside to this? I said, well, you know what? What the downside is that we're here right now. It's near midnight. After the show, having a drink together. After the show is always like a celebration. I go out, meet all I'll say Bret's fans, just to say, but to be part of the crowd, and I said, well, you know what? Guess what? In about 3.5 hours, we have to be in the lobby at 3 a.m. to get on the bus, to get in a rental car or whatever, to head to the airport, to fly to the next town, to get in another bus, to drive to the next venue, to be able to get there in time to do sound check, So to get into a hotel room at midnight, to know I only have 2.5 or 3 hours sleep is tough. But then to be professional, because guess what? You don't want to be that guy when there's 12 people waiting in the lobby and you overslept. You got to still be professional 24 hours a day. There's no real let off in being professional when you're on the road or in a band. You don't want to be the guy like, he let us down again. We're waiting on him again. He messed up that note again. It's every facet you can't let drop. The little things are as much as the big things. Being on stage and getting the notes right, or making sure you're there in time for the dinner call, or I don't even, all the little things count in the long run. It all adds up to be a trustworthy part of an organization.
Trustworthy. a trustworthy professional.
Right.
Oh, that's so powerful. It's so powerful. You know, for in any business, but you know, musicians, actors, you know, yes, people are relying on you. And I always like to think, you know, the more professional I am and the more prepared I am, then the more fun I get to have.
Exactly. Yeah.
You eliminate friction because you're not the guy that anybody's waiting on. You're not the guy who's hitting wrong notes.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you get off stage and the band leader is giving you a hard time because you hit wrong notes, well, then you've got all this friction, you've got all these issues. But I believe that professionalism and preparation and treating people with respect eliminates that friction. Then,
right.
So you do those things, and the rest of it, of course, there's difficult parts of every venture that you're doing, but it eliminates that unnecessary friction, and you can have fun. As simply as I'm always preaching, you know, the more prepared, I try to over prepare. This is for performing and for acting, right? So the more I'm over prepared and I know all my stuff backwards and forwards, when I hit the stage, it's total freedom.
Right.
I'm not worried about anything. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not, you know, we all make mistakes here and there, like little, you know, brain farts. But like for the most part, you know, the more prepared you are, the more free, I find anyway, the more free I can be. And,
free.
You know, and that's the best feeling in the world when you're performing. And when you're performing and you feel free and you're not having to think and you can just put everything into it. And also knowing that you're, you know, off stage, that you're being really professional and that people respect you because they can trust you. Right. That's a great feeling for you. You do it for yourself so that you feel, you know, that people are totally excited and really glad that they had you on their team.
Right. It's all about you be the one that's wanted.
yes. Absolutely. Well, man, I can't thank you enough. Everybody.
That was great. I love it. So much fun.
Yeah, thank you, man. Everybody, please follow Stormin Norman. You know, send him a message, tell him that you saw this or heard this, and you know, just subscribe and go see him with Bret and go see. Do you still play with the band when you're not playing with Bret?
I might, no. In the last couple of years, I canceled everything because I had to cancel a lot of shows of my own only because a show would come out. We'll see. Hey, Poison 2026. So maybe I'll play then, or we'll see. This summer, we're doing a little less this summer, so I do have a couple of things coming up. But you know, just to have fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Stormin Norman. You are the best.
Thanks, Tim.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Rock on.